You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Of course, we are celebrating today. We like to try and find something good to celebrate every morning. Start the day off right. National Peach Melba Day. Odd one, isn't it? I don't write them. You know, we find some of these different items on our research, and you're thinking about National Peach Melba Day. Wouldn't you expect that to be happening maybe a little later in the year when we're in peach season? Just a thought, just an observation from your consumer advocate. Did you get a chance to watch the Yawner last night? That was the last State of the Union address from the president. I find it very interesting watching that. I mean, I did get the fact check report this morning, and it was very interesting because if you recall yesterday, we talked about the idea of how long a typical State of the Union is. And I'm just looking at to see if I've got the notes here from what I had shared with you yesterday. The longest in history, 1 hour, 28 minutes, was one of President Clinton's speeches. And President Obama started his comments last night saying that he was going to make this a little bit shorter than normal, and then proceeded to talk for 59 minutes. 59 minutes after he told us it was going to be shorter than normal. Unbelievable. Well, there's a lot of fact-checking. If you want a full report, one of the items, the number one item in the fact check, we've done all this while cutting our deficits by almost 3/4. Really? Our national debt, when he took office, $9 trillion. Now it's $19 trillion. I wonder how that is cutting the debt. I'm just not sure how that works. Number two, anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction. Well, the U6 number, 9.9%, that I don't think is fiction. If you're one of the 94 million Americans that are unemployed or underemployed, that's probably not fiction. If you're one of the majority of Americans who have not seen their wages increase in the last 7 years, probably not fiction. The quote here, that's what the Affordable Care Act is all about. It's about filling the gaps in employer-based care so that when we lose a job or go back to school or start that new business, we'll still have coverage. Well, here's the issue there, and I've said this many, many times. Do you really care about health care coverage? Or do you care about health care? Yeah, that's the problem with the Unaffordable Care Act, is it's unaffordable. Health care costs going up, which is not good news. That's not the idea. Fourth item on the fact check. Food stamp recipients didn't cause the financial crisis. Recklessness on Wall Street did. Well, actually, food stamp recipients, metaphorically speaking, were indirectly responsible, as well as Wall Street sharks. President Obama leaves out the government's role under the Community Reinvestment Act in pushing mortgages on people who could not afford them. I could go on, but I don't want to bore you any more than most of us were bored who were watching the event last night. Unbelievable. The one thing that I will say is it's really typical of this administration. And this is just unbelievable when the president decided that we are going to solve the cancer situation. And I'm going to give you the quote. Tonight I'm announcing a new national effort to get it done. For the loved ones we've all lost, for the family we can still save, let's make America the country that cures cancer once and for all, unquote. Now, I don't know anybody that does not want to cure cancer, but maybe if the president came out with a line that was a little bit different than the 2002 episode of The West Wing, when the president of The West Wing in the movie said the exact same words. Martin Sheen said those exact same words in 2002. Do we expect a president of the United States to be quoting a TV show?
You're absolutely useless.
Not quite what we would expect out of our leaders. But then again, this president is a little bit unique. He also mentioned the idea that isn't it great that we're paying less than $2 a gallon for gas? Well, he is technically correct there. 34 states are paying less than $2 a gallon for gas. The national average down again at $1.94.6 per gallon for gas. Here in the state of California, we are paying $2.83.2, a full $1.20 more than Missouri, who's got the best price in gas in the country. Think about that one. Unbelievable. We'll keep on moving. Got a new case going in front of the Supreme Court. That's going to be an interesting case. It is the forcing of teachers to pay union dues. Monday, the Supreme Court heard a landmark case from California that could weaken teachers' unions' political clout nationwide, leaving them far less capable of supporting their Democrat Party clients. It's Friedrichs versus California Teachers Association is the case. Interesting that it's the case goes all the way to the Supreme Court based on $1,000 per year in union fees. I find the teachers' union issue to be very, very interesting, mainly because you've got a union paying the elected officials so that they can do what the union wants, so they get more power to pay the elected officials more money so that the unions get more of what they want. Are you seeing this circle here? That it's strictly a big old payoff. And whether a teacher is in favor of what the union wants or not, it doesn't matter. They still have to pay for that union. Not quite the thought process that one would think would make a lot of sense. We'll continue our conversation there. We're going to watch that story for you. Again, the Supreme Court hearing that case. Getting more money. How about instead of the teachers' union spending so much money on political activism and spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year on advertising? Wonder what it would be like if some of that money went into the teachers' pockets instead of the union leaders' pockets. Wonder if the teachers would be happier about that. Just a thought from one observer who just comes up with a few ideas here and there. I think the teachers would like having the money rather than having the pockets filled there. Guess the governor of here in the state of confusion looking to unveil a revised health care tax in his new budget. Wait a second, the president just told us how good the Unaffordable Care Act was doing, and the governor I guess he wants to keep our covered California system solvent. Most states, many states, I don't know, I shouldn't say most, many of the states are now finding that their Affordable Care Act systems are insolvent and they cannot continue running them without significant changes. I wonder what that's going to mean for the masses. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, real estate sales are slowing. I'm going to tell you why. Taxes, if you win the jackpot tonight, are you aware of what you're going to have in taxes? I don't know whether you like that idea or not. Why you might retire to a tiny house. And our wine guru, Robert Mott, will be rolling in. So if you want to reach me anytime, call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, they are moved over to YouTube in the afternoon. Ron Siegel 1 right there on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
In the middle of our street, our house.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by the VIP Hero Program. Yes, VIPHeroProgram.com to see if you qualify to get some of the discounts that are being offered by many of our lending, by our real estate partners. Think about that, $5,000 to $10,000. Taxes on the Powerball jackpot. Obviously, if you live here in the state of confusion, it's going to be higher than many other parts of the country. But think about this, $1.5 billion. First off, if you win the lottery at $1.5 billion today, I'm not sure you're going to really care about the taxes. I'm just saying that it's a lot of money. It'll be probably about $400 million in taxes. If you take that cash payment, another, 10% for those of us here in the state of confusion. You might get that surtax. There's a lot to it. But I think it'll be worth it. I think you might find that enjoyable, having that extra money, maybe a little spending money. As I shared with you the other day, what would you do with the Powerball winnings? Well, basically anything you want. We'll talk about this a little bit more maybe in a little while. That is the Mortgage Minute. Again, brought to you by the VIP Hero Program. Red wine means it is time for our weekly chat with our international wine guru, Robert Mott. Good morning, Robert.
Hi, good morning, Ron. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. Looking forward to some of these conversations. I saw your first item here. I do know somebody that does this, so I want to hear how can we get our guests to stop putting ice in the wine we serve them? Ugh.
I know. Makes some of our, really, that's one of those, it's a divisive issue in some ways. It kind of makes those of us that kind of fancy ourselves as wine aficionados or wine lovers, or kind of makes our skin crawl when you serve a nice, maybe put a nice California Cabernet out there that is typically not cheap, of course, and something you think your guests might enjoy. And the first thing they do is they ask for ice to go in their wine. And so you're kind of going, I'm not trying to make sangria here or something like that. But anyway, obviously somehow or another they got started putting ice in their wine to cool it off, or they just developed a taste for, watered down wine, either taken cold or diluted or both. A lot of times this kind of stems from the fact that a lot of people start out with wines that perhaps aren't quite as high quality wines as the things that many of us enjoy these days. And in those wines, the colder the better, most likely. So the ice was a natural way to get there. So one thing you can do, though, if this occurs in your home, of course, you try not to be rude to people. You don't want to laugh at them like you and I did, Ron, and we laughed at the concept of putting ice in wine. But a couple of things you can do is if they have these reusable ice cubes or recyclable ice cubes that are made either of soapstone or stainless steel. Some of them actually resemble ice cubes as well. There's some kind of polymer of some sort that have some kind of material in it. But next time that you sit down and one of your guests reach for ice cubes, you can ask them to give the reusable ones a shot. See if they like it. Explain that they can chill the wine without watering it down. And at least at that point, you've given them the opportunity to think about perhaps if they really are more about chilled wine or more about watered down wine. So, but otherwise, being a good host means letting your guests enjoy the wine the way they want to, the way they wish to, and, with a smile or perhaps a snicker or a grin in case of us. And of course, the extreme alternative is to get some new friends.
Yeah, something I must admit, I have a friend that does like this. He might even be listening right now. And, I'm just a straightforward kind of person. So the bottom line, what I do is I just go and I've got a few bottles of I think it's $2 Chuck I might even have, just for him. I don't serve it to anybody else, but he doesn't know the difference anyway because it tastes more like water.
Exactly. So basically it's kind of like a red food coloring and maybe a hint of grape taste to it.
I never thought of getting him grape juice. I wonder if he would notice the difference.
Well, grape juice and a little bit of vodka in there, they'll probably get him going right there.
And he would think it's wine, right? Because was it last week or the week before you were talking to us about Mega Purple? So
yeah, just put it in the wine glass. Get some of that Welch's Concord grape juice, and put a couple of ice cubes in a splash of vodka, and you'll put it in a wine glass, and you wouldn't know the difference, right?
I guess, boy, but I'm glad that you had this on the notes because I wondered. Now, let me ask you this because I think you and I might have chatted a little bit in the past about it. When you put some of the synthetic cooling devices, so to speak, in there, is that going to change the taste of the wine?
It will certainly change your perception of it, yeah. So, the temperature obviously affects wine tremendously. It's one of those things where, wine is a balance of acid and fruit and has alcohol and other volatile elements in it. So if you cool it off, the wine tends to close down a lot. So, like, for instance, if you have a nice Chardonnay or a white Burgundy of some sort, and you make it really, really cold, it will make the wine very sharp. Generally speaking, it'll make the wine sharp. You'll get a lot of acid. You get a lot of perception of alcohol, and you won't get much in the way of fruit because those flavors tend to get muted. On the other end of the spectrum, if you let it warm up to near room temperature or cellar temperature, you'll get a lot more of the fruit characteristics, and the acid will feel more in balance, and you won't necessarily perceive the alcohol quite as much unless you get it really warm, of course, and the alcohol it pops back up again. So it's one of those things that, it will definitely, the temperature as you serve your wine definitely affects or impacts your perception of that wine, no question.
So let me ask you this part of it then, because it bodes the next part of it. We want to have our wine at the proper temperature, and right now we don't have to worry about it, but you start getting another 3-4 months in many areas of our coverage map, people listening to us, the temperature is going to get pretty warm. If you don't drink your glass of wine fast enough, the wine's going to get warm, which is not how we want it either. So what's our alternative?
Well, generally when the weather gets warm, and being in La Quinta, the Palm Springs, Palm Desert area, as we know, the weather warms up pretty rapidly as we go into the spring. What I will tend to do is with the reds, I tend to chill them a little bit before I serve them, and even so far, I'll go so far on really warm days if we're sitting outside that I'll actually get a bucket of ice water to put the red wine in. Not a lot of ice, more water than ice, but just enough to keep the temperature down on the bottle. And the other trick, of course, is don't fill your glass all the way to the rim. Just fill it to maybe a quarter full or a third full, and then enjoy that, and then pour out of the bottle again. It's back at the correct temperature, or the temperature that may be more pleasant to you. So that's the thing is, use ice and water baths very liberally. I think it would be absolutely, and kind of to our first topic here, absolutely a last resort to put ice in wine, of course, is a last resort. And even secondarily, I'm a fan of using those synthetic ice cubes or synthetic cooling devices like that over using ice cubes. But that's about it, So I really don't like to have foreign objects in my wine glass, to tell you the truth. So that's just a personal preference, but that would be my lean.
I agree. Well, but it's great information. Let me get one. We got about a minute left. What does it mean if a wine has a hint of Cassis?
Cassis, yeah.
Cassis.
It's a black currant type flavor, and the reference is really to creme de cassis, which is a sweet black currant flavored liqueur. And so next time you're talking to your bartender, ask him to pour you a little taste test so you can taste it. The other thing you might see is if you ask for a Kir or Kir Royale, which are cocktails in which the liqueur is mixed with either a white wine or a sparkling wine. But Cassis is a real good descriptor for a lot of red wines because it connotates a concentrated, dark, tangy, black currant type of flavor. You don't see currants actually out in the store very often. But if you do, grab a couple, taste them, see what they taste like. I think you'll see that resemblance in some of the wines that you like. But that hint of flavor, just kind of hit the hint of flavor aspect, is exactly what it sounds like. It's not the dominant flavor. It's more a subtle component. It may sound, a touch pretentious for us to talk about it that way, but think about an apple pie. It can be full of bold apple and pastry flavors, but you might notice a hint of cinnamon. So that's when we talk about a hint of Cassis. We got a red wine that we have just that hint of that black currant, dark, fruity, tangy kind of aspect to the wine, if that makes sense.
Sounds like good stuff to me, and great information as always from Robert Mott every week joining us to talk a little bit about wine. And you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we've got a lot still on our docket. Why you might retire to a tiny house by choice, and why is the housing market, or why might the housing market slow down when we see everything being so good in other areas. We'll talk about all of that. You can reach us anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL Lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today, being brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Do you want to know the true value of your home? If you're thinking about selling your home, you might want to know that. Obviously, it's simple to get that information. You just text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. Those of you that are watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, you can see that we also have our home seller's guide. If you want a copy of that home seller's guide, text HSG, home seller's guide, to 79564, HSG to 79564. We'll get you a copy of that complimentary home seller's guide. All you have to do, again, text HSG 79564. So I was sharing with you a little bit earlier that there may be a slowdown in the real estate market. And some people are saying to me, Ron, they keep telling us that foot traffic is up, demand is up, interest rates are favorable. Most of the major forecasters are telling us that interest rates will be increasing. Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors, all telling us interest rates are increasing. But now you're saying that there might be a slowdown in housing sales? Well, here's the issue. Home values are up, home sales are up, distressed sales, that's foreclosures and short sales, those have fallen dramatically. It seems that 2016 will be the year that the housing market again races forward. However, there is one thing that may cause the industry to tap the brakes. A lack of housing inventory. While buyer demand looks like it's going to be strong throughout this winter, supply is not keeping up. People are not listing their houses. That tells you something real simple right there. If you are contemplating selling your home, when is the best time to sell your home? Well, the number one best time to sell your home is when it makes sense for you and your family. Secondarily, what you want to do is look at it and say, okay, now that I know that I want to sell my home, I want to get the most I can for it. When are you going to get the most money for your home? When demand is high and supply is low. It's just economics 101. So let's see what the industry experts have to say about this. Calculated risk. They do a survey regularly. Their quote, low inventory is probably holding down sales in many areas, unquote. Capital Economics, another source that we follow regularly. Quote, a lack of housing inventory continues to drive developments in the market. As demand is slowly recovered, low inventory levels have weighed on home sales, unquote. Frank Nothaf, chief economist at CoreLogic, I'll quote him. Many markets have experienced a low inventory of homes for sale along with strong buyer demand. These conditions are likely to persist as we enter 2016, unquote. Doug Duncan, Lawrence Yoon, they're saying all the same things. The bottom line, if you're thinking of selling, now may be the time. Demand for your house will be strong at a time when there is little competition. That could lead to a quick sale for a very good price. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. Get that equity analysis review. Now, let me share this with you. Are you thinking of selling? What's been holding you back? I hear on a regular basis the biggest item that holds people back, especially right now, there's a huge amount of pent-up demand. How do I know that there's a lot of pent-up demand? I'm going to look for this chart here while we're chatting. But the average homeowner keeps their home for about 6 years in a normal market. 6 years in a normal market. Where are we today? Well, right now, people are holding their homes almost 50% longer. Why? Well, the biggest reason is most people just don't know that they have equity in their homes. They're not aware. They think that there's no equity, so they're not selling, yet there is equity. How do we deal with that? Well, you call and you get that the Professional Equity Analysis Review, PEAR, to 79564. I'm going to also tell you what the biggest holdups are to home sales. But think about this. 2001 to 2008, we were keeping our house for 6 years. 2009, 7 years. 2010, 8 years. 2011, 12, and 13, 9 years. 2014, we're holding 10 years is how long we've held our homes. 2015, 9 years. This is all according to Forbes. It's not Ron Siegel Radio data. Forbes did this study. So based on that information, we know that there's pent-up demand for homes. In California, 93.2% of the homes have equity. That's according to CoreLogic. 93.2% of California homeowners have equity in their homes. 91.9% of the entire United States has home equity. So here's the situation. We know that over the last 8 years when this has been going on, about 8 years, we've had babies. We've had kids leave the nest. They've gone to college. Their marriages. They come home. They want to start their own families. All of these things are going on. So there is pent-up demand for selling. People to buy that right size. They need a bigger house. They need a smaller house. They want to get rid of the 2-story house and get a single-story house. All of these things are there. Let me ask you this very, very simple question. There's only 3 things that you need to know when you're looking for somebody to help you sell your house. I know you want the most money possible for your property. I understand that. It's very, very common. Everybody wants the most possible money for their property. The question is, how do you get it? And I'm going to share with you, it's basic economics, Economics 101. If you've ever taken an economics course, they all seem to start the same place. They start out with supply and demand. Now, I'm going to share with you, if you want to get the most money for a house, when you're looking to sell your house, the only thing you need to talk to a real estate professional about is the marketing plan. Because I'm going to tell you right here, right now, I don't care what the commission is on somebody selling your house. I don't sell houses, so I can say that, right? And it doesn't matter what you list the house for. I'm going to tell you most people go about both of those issues exactly backwards. Exactly backwards. So you need to find out the marketing plan first. Newspaper and magazines. If that's where an agent is leading their marketing plan, get a new agent, because those are a total waste of money, waste of effort, waste of time. If somebody's putting your property into a magazine, that means they're planning on it being on the market for 3 or 4 months, because that's how far in advance you have to buy advertising or buy space in magazines, 3 or 4 months in advance. So do I want my property in a magazine? No, because I want it sold faster than that. I want to get my demand for my property as high as possible. Demand for the property as high as possible. It's done with 3 steps. Number 1 is a great marketing plan. You got to get it out there. Where are people finding their properties? They're finding them on the internet. It's got to have a great marketing strategy on the internet. How often is it being syndicated to all of the websites? Google and Trulia, Realtor.com, Zillow, all these different websites. How often is it syndicated there? Is there a great website for the property? How often are you using text messaging? Is your property available to be known or seen by text message? Can somebody get the information about your property by text? I suggest more people use text messages than read newspapers. That's the situation right there. Now, let me ask you this. How do we get real estate agents to show your property and push your property more than any other property? It's simple. Pay them. So if a real estate agent says to you, Or if you say to a real estate agent, here's my property, I know that it's a tight market, and I'm only going to pay you 4% or 5%. The real estate professional goes back and they might take that listing at 4%. Fine. They put the property in the multiple listing service so that every other real estate agent in the area will know that your property is available for sale. But are they going to show it? If it's a 4% listing, is it going to get shown? I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit more when we come back. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're also going to chat a little bit about why you might retire to a tiny house by choice. There's a lot to still cover today. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com, or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
There's fresh, and then there's In-N-Out Burger Fresh. Come see your made-to-order burger being freshly prepared before your eyes and taste the In-N-Out difference.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by your household board of directors. If you don't have a household board of directors, simply text ATP to 79564, ATP, Area Trusted Professional, to 79564, and we will set up it's about a 2 or 3 minute survey, and then you can get all the introductions to the people you need to know in your area to set up that household board of directors. It's a pretty simple process, and more than happy to do it for you. Totally complimentary of Ron Siegel Radio. So before the break, well, let me do this story here, and then we'll go back to what we were chatting about before the break. Why you might want to retire in a tiny house by choice. Let's think about this. What is a tiny house by choice? I've seen some interesting programs on TV, these 600-foot houses, 400-foot houses. Think about that. What is the cost of that? What is the maintenance of that? Could you possibly enjoy something a little more exciting with your money than having a big piece of property? Retirees, why retirees are moving to these smaller houses? Here's the answer. 64% reduced monthly costs, 44% less maintenance, 18% now have fewer family members in the house, 16% wanted the cash from selling a prior home. They've got other ideas, other things they want to do. In the state of confusion here, that makes a lot of sense, especially because our property values are so much. If you decide to sell your house, buy a small house, a condo, a loft, something along those lines, think about that. Are you going to end up with a lot of cash to enjoy the golden years of life? Maybe it's a financial planning process. We don't think a lot about the financial planning side of retirement, of our debts. We think about financial planning. You think about the 401k ruse. And I've told you that I'm not a big fan of the 401k. In fact, I'm not a fan of them at all. It's a simple way for the government to take more of your money, just to take your money. And I'm not a fan of that. There are better solutions that'll get you the same results or better results, and at the end of the day, not give your money to the government. What do you think about that idea? I don't want your money going there. So plan it. That's why we talked yesterday so much about the home equity conversion mortgage, also known as a reverse mortgage. Good stuff there. But before the break, and that's the Word on Wealth segment, again, brought to you by your household board of directors, texting ATP to 79564. Word on Wealth segment brought to you every day. Before the break, I was telling you there are simple ways of selling your house, the most possible money, shortest amount of time, and doing everything counterintuitive to what your own perceptions, your beliefs might be. But it does follow precisely Economics 101 and supply and demand. So we chatted about the idea that you got to have a great marketing plan, and that's the only thing that you really need to worry about from your real estate professional. If they can market your property, if they're great at marketing, then you're going to get the most possible money if you do what I'm sharing with you now in the next two steps, because the next two steps are vital as well. Pricing your property and the commission you set for the property. Now, your real estate professional can bring you copies of the competition that's in your area. What does that mean by competition in your area? What other properties are for sale in your neighborhood similar to your property? Bedroom size, stories, 1 story, 2 story, garages, attached, detached, single family, condominium. What is the competition that you're going to have to beat out to sell your property? So now here are the two issues I shared with you before. In a quick-moving market, yeah, you probably can get somebody to list your house and put it on the MLS for you and pay them a reduced commission. Does it make sense for you? So in that MLS listing on the agent profile, not on the profile they give their clients, but on the agent profile, it's going to tell the selling agent, the person that represents the buyer, they're called a selling agent, what their commission will be if they sell that property. Now, I suggest that most agents, for all the work they're doing to list your property and to market your property, that's going to probably cost 3%. They're going to spend their money on building websites. They're going to spend their money on promoting the website, promoting the property, signage, professional photography, not somebody coming in with their iPhone. That's not professional photography. All of these things, they're going to do that. It's going to probably cost you about 3%. So now let's say hypothetically you want to only pay 4% for the listing on the commission side. Well, the agent, that's fine with the agent. They're going to go in and they're going to put the selling commission for the buyer's agent is going to be 1%. Do you think you're going to get a lot of people looking at that for 1%? What if you put in there 2%? What if you put in there 3% or 4%? We want to get as many people as possible coming into your property. Why? Because the more people that come into your property, the more people that are going to bid on your property. The more people that bid on your property, they continue to increase the price of your property, the selling price. So who cares about the 1 or 2% when you can look at 5 or 10% on the sales side? Don't be cheap, be smart. Okay, so here we go. What we want to do is get that up. How do we get the agents to show your property more frequently? Pay them. If you've got the agents, they put out the competition right there. The competition is going to say, okay, this is how much the buying agent or the selling agent is going to get when they sell the property. If they look at all your competition and they say 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and then they look at your property and it says 4, do you think the agents are going to show every single person your property? Of course they are. They're not stupid. They want to make money. That's why they do it. Yes, they want to help people, but they're in it to make money for their family as well. So if you pay them 4 instead of 3 or 3.5 instead of 2.5, they're going to promote your property more than anybody else's. Now let's talk about price. Well, you're going to look at the competition. If you set your property at the highest possible price, well, you're going to get the least amount of people there. They're going to look at the cheap ones first. So what if you make yours the cheapest? What if you do both? If yours is the cheapest property and the property that's going to pay the agent the most money, do you think everybody is going to see your property? Well, according to surveys, 90% will if your property is priced cheaper than the market and you're paying the agents more than market. 90% of the people are going to see your property. What happens then? Well, pretty simple. You get in a bidding war. Not you negotiating with the buyer. It's buyer bidding against buyer, and you just stand on the sidelines waiting for the last man to fall. Think about that. And your price goes up. As long as you've got an agent that knows what they're doing and how to do this, price your property properly, but price it aggressively, a little bit lower than market. Pay the agents more than market. And collect more at the end of the day, because who cares how much you pay them? It's how much you get that really matters. That's how you sell your property the fastest for the most net money to you, which is all that's important. Just a simple thought there. I couldn't end today's broadcast without talking about probably the biggest news story around SoCal. Here's an interesting one. $1.6 billion. Rams coming back to Southern California. Interesting thinking about that one. What are your thoughts about that? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Ron at ronsiegelradio.com. Go to facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And let me know your thoughts. I saw a commentary on Facebook a little bit earlier today, another radio guy in San Diego market, talking about the fact of the Rams leaving St. Louis. Ironically enough, he's from the St. Louis area, so he's not too happy about it. That the team supported them, good and bad. He never seemed to mention the idea, and that the team is just leaving now, up and leaving after they've supported him all this time. And he never mentioned the fact that, what did St. Louis do 21 years ago when they pulled the Rams from Southern California when they were being supported here just like they're being supported there? Hadn't thought about that concept. Here's the bottom line, and it's very, very simple. Sports is nothing more than business. Like him or hate him, Donald Sterling used to make this comment. that it's about making money. That's why he bought the team. He didn't buy the team for any reason other than to make money. And boy, he mastered that, making money. Now the Clippers are actually, now they're successful. They're paying a lot more money in salaries. They're winning. I'm not a Clippers fan. But professional sports is about making money. You and I as fanatics, as fans, we see it a little bit differently. But the owners, it's a money game, and that's what it is for the players as well. And speaking of money, we talk about yours here all the time. So set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Good luck in the Powerball tonight, and remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
XAKA 1700 AM kita Bata.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.
Learning